They fired me, then learned they never owned the system. They terminated my contract at 9:12 a.m. on a Wednesday. No warning. No meeting. Just a calendar invite titled Access Review, Immediate, and a short email that said, effective immediately, your services are no longer required. Please ensure a smooth transition of all systems under your management. I read it twice. Then I smiled. Because what they thought they were firing, was not what they were actually using. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start from the beginning. My name is Daniel Reeves. I'm 51 years old, and for the last 26 years, I've built infrastructure systems that nobody notices, until they stop working. I don't sell apps. I don't pitch decks. I don't do LinkedIn posts about disruption. I design control systems. The invisible kind. The ones that make entire industries look effortless, right up until someone arrogant assumes they own them. That's how I ended up working with Northgate Distribution Group. 6 years earlier, Northgate was bleeding money. Their regional shipping hubs across Ohio and Pennsylvania were out of sync. Trucks stacked up. Warehouses blamed dispatch. Dispatch blamed software. Executives blamed inefficiency. The truth? Their systems were never designed to work together. They called me when their board threatened to shut down 2 hubs. I walked into their main facility and saw chaos disguised as dashboards. 3 platforms. 2 legacy databases. Manual overrides everywhere. And 0 real-time control. I told them the truth. You don't need another software license, I said. You need a nervous system. They hired me that afternoon. I spent the next 2 years building something custom. Not software they could download. Not something IT could maintain. A hybrid control architecture, hardware-linked, encrypted, adaptive. Routing logic that learned from traffic patterns. Warehouse assignments that corrected themselves. Fail-safes that prevented human overrides from breaking the system. It worked. Missed shipments dropped to 0. Downtime disappeared. Auditors stopped asking questions. Their COO used to call me late at night just to say, whatever you built, don't ever let it go. And here's the important part, I never sold it to them. They licensed access. I retained ownership. Every line of code. Every control key. Every physical interface. Their lawyers signed it. Their executives understood it. Or so I thought. Then the old leadership retired. And Karen Holt took over. New title. New haircut. New attitude. Her first email to me wasn't a hello. It was a spreadsheet. Highlighted rows. Red comments. Third-party dependency risk, she wrote. Exploring internalization of external systems. I replied calmly. Attached the contract. Attached 6 years of performance metrics. She responded 5 minutes later. We'll be reviewing ownership alignment. That sentence told me everything. She didn't want clarity. She wanted control. 3 days later, she requested full system documentation for continuity. Not access. Not consultation. Transfer. That's when I stopped being polite. I sent her one line, you are licensed to operate the output, not the engine. Her reply came the next morning. Your contract is terminated effective immediately. That was it. No transition plan. No negotiation. Just confidence. The kind of confidence people have right before gravity reminds them how it works. They didn't know about the physical layer. They thought everything lived on their servers. They didn't know about the relay unit in my workshop. The encryption handshake. The master sync authority. They were about to find out. 2 days later, I was sitting in a quiet cafe outside Dayton. Black coffee. Laptop open. At 1:59 p.m., I received the first message. We're having trouble accessing core scheduling. I ignored it. At 2:03, another. Data isn't refreshing. At 2:07, a call. Declined. At 2:11 p.m., I executed a permission reversion. Not a shutdown. A return to owner state. The system didn't crash. It simply stopped listening. For the first 10 minutes, nothing looked wrong. Dashboard stayed green. Reports kept updating with cached data. But on the ground, trucks arrived at the same docks. Routes conflicted. Automated gates froze mid-cycle. By 2:34, warehouses were calling each other. By 2:47, dispatchers were yelling. By 3:02, Karen Holt's office went into lockdown. My inbox exploded. Subject lines changed tone fast. From quick question to urgent issue to critical system failure, then the legal emails started. Then the calls. I didn't answer. Instead, I sent one email. Short. Clear. Emergency restoration available under revised terms. Attached was a proposal. Triple rate. Full acknowledgement of ownership. No internal replication. No exceptions. The call came 18 minutes later. This time, Karen wasn't leading it. She wasn't speaking at all. The CFO was. The legal counsel. Operations. Karen sat muted, staring forward. Can you restore the system? They asked. Yes, I said. How long? 15 minutes after confirmation. Silence. Then, send wiring instructions. The funds cleared at 4:41 p.m. I flipped the authorization back. One by one, systems woke up. Routes corrected. Gates unlocked. Traffic normalized. By 5:02 p.m., the crisis was over. I left the call without saying goodbye. 2 weeks later, a new contract arrived. Different name at the top. Karen Holt's name was gone. They accepted every clause. No edits. No questions. I still run the system. But now, they don't confuse access with ownership. And every time a new executive asks who really controls it, they get very quiet. Some people think power comes from titles. Others think it comes from money. But real power? Real power is knowing when to let someone believe they're in control, and when to remind them who actually is.